your IRA and retirement changes, right? So under the newly passed $1.7 trillion federal spending bill that was passed on December, it was passed before December 29th, but signed into law by President Biden on December 29th. There were a couple of changes, right? I described in a previous video that there were like extra funding for military, aid for Ukraine, and whatnot. But also there are a couple of changes done towards retirement packages, right? Retirement accounts, specifically 401k plans, IRAs, and Roth IRAs, right? So according to what was recently passed, right, there are new rules. So currently, under the pre-established rules, not the ones that were passed, but the pre-established rules, Americans must start receiving required minimum distributions from 401ks and IRAs starting at the age of 72 or 70, and half if you turn that age before January 1st, 2020. Now, under the new rules of what is called Secure 2.0 Act of 2022, so the funding bill, there's an act that's within the funding bill that was just passed. So that raises that age to the age of 73, and you might think starting on January 1st, 2023, and 75 if you starting in 2033. So that means they're giving you a couple more years, basically 1 to 2 years more for you to like make up the difference. So a couple more years of making up, saving more for retirement. And that has to do, of course, with the fact that a lot of people are living longer and cost of living is higher, and so they require more of a longer time horizon, right? The previous rules, basically did not have that, right? The new rules also reduced the penalty for failing to take like frequent distributions or making frequent distributions. So, or making early distributions. So it used to be as bad as 50%. Now the penalty would be 25% of your assets, right? So that means if you take out your assets early, and that would mean that your penalty will be lower, essentially. What are the new contribution limits for 401k plans and IRAs? So, and according to this CNET News article, while the standards limit for contributions for 401k plans and IRAs won't change, the law will boost the catch-up limit for Americans over 50 and introduce additional potential catch-up, quote-unquote, distributions for those older than 60. So IRS law currently allows people 50 and up to contribute an additional $1,000 to their retirement accounts each year over the standard limit. That's for 401k plans and IRAs. So in other words, you will be allowed, there's always like a maximum and a minimum depending on the time, the plan that you have. For example, if you have a 401k plan, you can put up to $19K a year, right? And if you have an IRA, you can put up to $6K, if I'm not mistaken. So whether it's a traditional IRA or Roth IRA. So if you, under these new rules, you'll be able to put $1,000 more if you are over the age of 50, and even more than that if you are over the age of 60. So in other words, if you haven't saved enough for retirement by those ages, you have more of that's considered more of a period of catch-up or additional opportunity for you to put more money in to those respective accounts and be able to have enough money by the time you retire. That's the notion, right? How's the IRA tax credit changing? So the new law will repeal and replace the IRA tax credit, also known as the saver's credit. Instead of a non-refundable tax credit, those who qualify for the saver's credit will receive a federal matching contribution to a retirement account. This change in the law will start in 2027. So instead of a flat tax credit, they will receive a matching contribution. So this is actually better than the old system. But the fact that you have to wait until 2027 is kind of lamentable, essentially, since it is a couple years out, 5 years out. Congress also implemented the IRS laws for retirement account rollovers from 529 plans, which are tax advantage savings accounts for higher education. That's for people like me who are in higher education. Currently, any money withdrawn from a 529 plan that's not used in education is subject to a 10% penalty. Yes, I have suffered that penalty. So it would reduce that penalty or eliminate it completely. So beneficiaries of a 529 college savings plans account will be allowed to roll over up to $35,000 total in their lifetime from a 529 plan to a Roth IRA. The Roth IRA will still be subject to an annual contribution limits, and 529 accounts must be open for at least 15 years. So no penalty on that one, but at least, but yes, you still have the limit of 35K in total. What are the new rules? So it's not by year, but in total. What are the new rules for early withdrawals from retirement accounts? That's the big one, because a lot of people tend to do that, like withdraw early. The Secure 2.0 Act of 2022 includes several rule changes that will benefit Americans. Normally, you will be charged that 10% penalty if you withdraw before 59 years old, right? So first, Congress added a basic exception for emergencies. So if you have an emergency, account holders that are younger than 59 and a half can withdraw up to $1,000 per year for emergencies and have 3 years to repay the distribution if they want. So so it's not that you don't necessarily, like, you got to pay it back. You got to put it back into retirement, but if it's just $1,000 that you need for that year, you're all set. But most people withdraw just the full amount. So I don't know how much this will help. It will help a little bit, but not that much. People who are terminally ill will not have that penalty, but definitely for those who self-certify. They can be allowed to self-certify, as you can say. So nobody has to certify in your behalf that was actually an emergency, the whole withdrawal. And that applies to 403B plans, 401k plans, and whatnot. Paying off student loans will mean that you can get matching contributions to your retirement plans. In terms of employer plans, contributions from workers automatically enrolled will start at a minimum of 3% with a maximum of 10% each year after 2025. Those accounts will rise to 1% until they reach the range between 10 and 15%. Retirements plans created, so they will allow the matching. There will be limited penalties for that. So not that much in the way of change on retirement accounts. It just makes it easier for you to save towards a retirement account. It will be easier for you to add more money towards a retirement account. And especially if you're within the ages of 50 and 60, it will be easier for you to catch up, right, to your contribution, to add more to that contribution, which is good news to say the least. But other than that, the reduction of the penalty is it's good news, but not much in the way of changes for that. Not substantial changes, at least. But it is good news if you haven't started saving, that is, for retirement. So thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, share this video with your friends, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.